The Washington Redskins' schedule is out, and already fans are looking ahead to games on the schedule as they try and map out how the team will fare. Ranked as the league's 14th hardest schedule, the Redskins won't have an easy road as they try and find their way back to the top of the NFC East after a disappointing 7-9 finish a season ago. So how might they fare with Alex Smith at the helm? It's too early to say how the offense will look and how the Redskins' rookies will affect their final record, but on the surface, an improvement looks to be around the corner. Coaches have been pleased with the developing connection that Smith and his wide receivers have made thus far, with Paul Richardson in particular proving to be the deep threat that the Redskins have missed in recent seasons. Darius Guice has also impressed, showcasing the full complement of skills necessary for the running back in the NFL. He's already put to bed any concerns about his ability to catch the football, while his athleticism and enthusiasm for the game have also been a big hit with the coaching staff. On defense, an added emphasis on stopping the run and developing the defensive line should pay major dividends this season. Darren Payne arrives to partner with Jonathan Allen, giving the Redskins a potent all-around duo at the heart of the defense. Zach Brown also returns and feeling at home in D.C., with coaches expecting him to take on a larger role this season. The real question is whether or not the changes will amount to success on the field. While it's too early to say for sure, things are certainly trending up for the Redskins as they look to make the playoffs for the first time since 2015. Scroll down to see how the season plays out. The team's first matchup is against the Cardinals, who with a rookie quarterback and without Tyrann Mathieu, simply don't have the roster in place to give the Redskins a serious challenge. The way Washington's schedule plays out means the team will need to get off to a fast 2-0 start, and they'll get halfway there in Week 1 after taking down the Cardinals. It's rare that the first game of the season can be considered a must-win, but that's the way this can be viewed. A new coach in place and still no word on Andrew Luck. The Colts will enter a raucous environment for the Redskins' home opener at FedEx Field. With no real game changes on the roster, they'll find it difficult to cope with the Redskins' improved defense, and thankfully, a 2-0 start for the good guys comes to fruition. It's essential to take care of wins when they come, especially with the Redskins looking to bounce back after last season's 7-9 finish. Jordy Nelson might be gone, but bringing in Jimmy Graham will give Aaron Rodgers yet another potentially dominant target. It will be a major test of the young secondary, especially with those tasked with keeping their targets in check, as well as Rodgers' ability to extend plays a la Carson Wentz. The Redskins have struggled with tight ends in the past, and that connection is just too strong to overcome as the Packers roll out winners in Week 3. The Redskins head back to New Orleans as they try to finish the job they started last season before letting a late lead slip in heartbreaking fashion. Sadly, the Saints have gone from strength to strength with the league's most balanced defense and an improved defense, making the job on the road just too much for the Redskins to overcome. It may be too much to ask to keep their numerous weapons, especially Alvin Kamara, under wraps. Payback will have to wait. In one of the closest games of the season, but the Redskins get the job done against Cam Newton and co. in a tightly contested battle. It's one of the hardest games to call as you never know which Panthers team will show up, but the improved Redskins defense and the general lack of weapons on the Panthers roster is of benefit to the Redskins. It will be interesting to see how Alex Smith and his targets have developed their relationship up to this point. Dez Bryant gone, Jason Witten retired, Dak Prescott overrated. That leaves only Ezekiel Elliott for the Cowboys in 2018, who showed their true colors a season ago as they limped to the finish line. The Redskins get an early division win against their biggest rivals, who could find this sledding tough on the offensive side throw the ball. It's been a long wait for a win over the Cowboys, but that's set to change in 2018. The Giants were abysmal last season, and while they'll undoubtedly improve, they haven't improved enough to get a win over the Redskins. Odell Beckham Jr. throws a temper tantrum after Eli Manning throws yet another interception, and the Redskins roll against the division foes, even with Saquon Barkley toting the rock. An impressive three-game winning streak sees the Redskins making an early challenge for the division lead. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones and Devonta Freeman proved to be too much for the Redskins defense as they fall to Falcons. The Redskins' offense has improved, but the firepower from the other side is a challenge for the defense. The Falcons are simply too prolific in the air for the Redskins to be able to contain the threat. Those 3 straight wins come in handy as they drop a tough one, another win for the Redskins against the Bucs and former wide receiver Deshaun Jackson. There are just too many question marks with Jameis Winston and a substandard roster, leading the Redskins to a win on the road against the NFC South foes. With Winston still raw after only recently coming back from a 3-game suspension, the Redskins' defense will be able to capitalize on his erratic throws. The Texans are vastly improved with Tyrann Mathieu joining the team and Deshaun Watson back fully healthy. The mobile quarterback has been the thorn in the side of the Redskins in recent years, and Watson goes off with DeAndre Hopkins being the big beneficiary of his return. The Texans' defense has enough talent to contain pretty much any offense in the league, the Redskins included. On the road on Thanksgiving Day, the home crowd is too much for the Redskins to overcome as they split the season series with the Cowboys. Could turn out being a win, but as per history, splitting the series seems appropriate. It's not the end of the world though, as the Redskins are still right in the thick of things in the race for the NFC East. 3 straight losses for the Redskins as they travel to the defending Super Bowl champions for Monday Night Football. Carson Wentz and co. get the job done, but it's a closer matchup than many believe it will be. It doesn't necessarily spell doom for the Redskins, but the toughest part of the schedule begins to rear its ugly head. The big question will be how the Redskins respond after the setbacks. The Giants travel to FedEx Field for their return game against the Redskins, and the result remains the same. Redskins roll at home after 3 consecutive losses to the Cowboys and Eagles, which is a welcome sign as they continue their fight for a wild-card place and the NFC East race. The Jags added a lot of pieces, but they didn't add enough as the Redskins get a key road victory against the AFC South foes. Blake Bortles just isn't consistent enough to get the job done, and the Redskins capitalize on that. The Jags' defense might be the best in the NFL, but their offense pales in comparison to what the Redskins have been able to do. It'll be a low-scoring affair, but back-to-back wins is just what the doctor ordered for the Redskins. For some reason, Titans fans seem to think they have the best team in the NFL. Well, they don't, and the trip to Nashville is a good one for the boys in burgundy and gold as they get back-to-back wins on the road against the AFC South. The race is as tight as ever as the Redskins desperately try to make their first return to the playoffs since 2015. The Redskins get revenge and put an end to their losing streak against the Eagles as they get an all-important win at home to close out the season. 4 straight wins sees Jay Gruden and the Redskins make the playoffs via the wild card. It's enough to ease all of the pressure on the Redskins coaches and players, and finally gives fans something to cheer about. Moving on from Kirk Cousins does the trick.